I'm Matt McClure.
And I'm Francesca Maxime, and this is Currents.
Meet a nun whose performances are packing theaters.
Nothing is impossible for you. Nothing is impossible for God. Es correcto.
Other music with the same message.
You can still be cool and still believe in your faith and follow a positive path in your life.
And even the Pope has a writing partner. Thank you for joining us this evening. Around the country and around the world, people are dancing and bopping to the beat. Music is everywhere, you know, especially here in New York because there are plenty of choices.
Definitely.
You've got things to choose from like opera in the park, stadium, arena acts as well. Go catch a Broadway musical. You've got rock, pop, and jazz at some smaller venues too.
You sure do. It's a whole plethora of everything. It's not the likeliest of stages to find a nun, however, but one sister with a voice and the chops is playing to large crowds. Our Nathalia Ortiz caught up with Hermana Glenda at one of her recent rehearsals.
Si nada es imposible para ti, ¿por qué tengo miedo? Si nada es imposible para ti, nothing is impossible for you. Nothing is impossible for God. Es correcto.
This singing nun may doubt whether we can understand her English. But when it comes to spreading the word of God, not even her thick Chilean accent can stop her from delivering the sound of music to Spanish-speaking audiences everywhere.
Creo que es el lenguaje universal más grande. Toca el corazón, toca la mente. Y yo creo que es el lenguaje más apto para hablar de Dios.
Hermana Glenda Hernández, as she's known to her Hispanic fans, was born in Parral, Chile 38 years ago, but she and her music have traveled the world accomplishing her mission, evangelization. She's got a PhD in psychology and is a theologian, a graduate of the Pontifical Gregorian University in Rome, the most prestigious university of theology. Ironically, music is the one area she didn't prepare for.
Para mí es un misterio porque no sé cantar. O sea, no he estudiado canto, no sé música.
Her no-frills way of explaining Bible texts through music is what she's known for, making her an unlikely pop star.
For me, she's an inspiration. I've been using her songs during the Mass and liturgies and prayer services, and she is a good asset to the Catholic community.
About the only thing she has in common with most rock stars is a love for music and a fan base. But she's careful to point out they shouldn't actually be her fans, but fans of Christ. And though this singer-songwriter is also known for garnering laughs, she enables people to reflect upon their Catholic faith during trying times as well.
La gente escribe y cuenta cómo en un momento difícil se acuerda de una canción de la hermana Glenda. Y no se acuerda de una canción de la hermana Glenda, se acuerda de un texto bíblico que está detrás. Se acuerda de la palabra del Señor en un momento oportuno. Y a mí me da una alegría tremenda haber podido ayudar a alguien a que encuentre esa palabra. Para mí esa es mi droga, esa es mi felicidad.
And she's taking her happiness on the road, making stops around the U.S., including this one in the Bronx last week. Sister Glenda will also be performing in Miami, Los Angeles, and Chicago within the next month. But how did a Catholic nun start holding concert tours?
Para mí fue una sorpresa. Una monja que daba clase en un colegio, que era psicóloga, escuchando a la gente que sufre. De pronto la invitan a cantar a Toronto y ahí empieza todo.
She became an instant hit after she performed in Toronto at World Youth Day in 2002. It's no wonder she's got such a strong following of young people who 7 years and 5 CDs later are still fans.
Yo creo que la gente joven está buscando algo que le dé sentido a su vida. Y yo creo que Jesús es una muy buena opción. Al cantar, tú como que la cantas, la sientes, se la dices a Dios o Dios te la dice a ti. Yo creo que la gente, por eso un poco a la gente joven que busca también momentos no solo de baile, sino de reflexión, le va bien también la hermana Glenda. ¿Por qué no?
They know the words there on that one.
That's right, I was singing along. How cool.
Hermana Glenda. And for more on her life and work, head over to our blog at netny.net/currents and click on Riding the Wave.
Stay tuned, there's much more Currents straight ahead.
Welcome back to Currents. I'm Francesca Maxime.
And I'm Matt McClure. Coming up later on, more inspiring music as part of our summer sampler of net programming. But first, we'll have the day's headlines. The Catholic Medical Association wants Washington to, quote, hit the reset button on health care reform. In a statement, the organization says the process to pass legislation is rushed and that the bills that have emerged are flawed. The association is concerned that doctors may be forced to perform procedures that go against their consciences, such as abortion. They're also concerned that the proposed legislation would require health insurance to cover abortions. From Vietnam, the government there says it will prosecute 7 Catholics who have been in custody since last week. They were part of a larger group arrested for trying to build a makeshift place of worship in the city of Dong Hoi. Since last week's incident, the Catholics there have taken to the streets to protest, and many have been beaten. Among the victims, 2 priests, one of whom was thrown from a building's 2nd floor. Authorities reportedly want to turn the city into a, quote, no Catholic zone.
A world record and a meeting with the Pope all in the same week. Olympic gold medalist Michael Phelps on Wednesday broke his previous record in the 200-meter butterfly. On Saturday, he'll be among 100 swimmers who will have an audience with Pope Benedict this Saturday. As for the Pope, it's not too early to look ahead to next year. The Vatican says Pope Benedict will focus on the connection between peace and the environment for the next World Day of Peace, which will be celebrated on January 1st.
Well, the Pope's latest encyclical is being referred to as a social justice encyclical. And as we hear from Rome Reports, Benedict had some help in writing it from an Italian archbishop.
Archbishop Giampaolo Crepaldi is one of the people who best knows the Pope's encyclical Charity and Truth. After all, he collaborated directly with Benedict XVI in drafting it.
The most decisive and departing point of the encyclical is this one. God is love, God is charity, and God is truth.
Archbishop Crepaldi says that in this encyclical, the Pope aims to send a message of hope, but also of responsibility to humanity.
In the encyclical Caritas in Veritate, the Pope says, let's bring fraternity into economic activities. The market is not a place where I live and you die, but a place where goods and services are exchanged in a way that instead of decreasing fraternity among people, it increases it.
He points out that the Pope denounces the idea that the market is the engine of society because this idea goes against the Christian perspective.
The Pope says that in order to solve the crisis, we have to give a different meaning to the market, to the economy, and to the finance, namely, to give these 3 realities a humanistic perspective.
And he explains that this encyclical cannot be perceived simply as a document aimed at solving the economic crisis. That's why he emphasizes Benedict XVI's message about the environment in which the Pope seeks to merge respect for life with respect for nature.
First, he says that humans are more important than nature, and then he says that nature must be respected. These 2 proposals are very significant because some give more weight to nature and humiliate man, and others destroy nature to the point of causing natural disasters.
Crepaldi says that now is the time to carefully study the various themes of the encyclical, think about the message that unifies the ideas of the document, and put its teachings into practice.
Well, not surprisingly, the Pope is practicing what he preaches. He's approved a project to turn his home in Bavaria into a solar power generator. And from Benedict XVI to Frederick J. Ironcoder II. Ironcoder, better known as television evangelist Reverend Ike, has died. Before evangelists like Joel Osteen, Reverend Ike preached a gospel of prosperity now, or to put it simply, God wants you to be rich. He founded the United Church Science of Living Institute in the Washington Heights section of Manhattan. Reverend Ike was 74. Well, stay tuned. We have much more Currents straight ahead.
Coming up, making a joyful noise for the 21st century.
We want to reach everyone, and music is the best way, in my opinion, to do that.
Well, to quote St. Augustine, to sing is to pray twice. Earlier in the show, we met a nun who's putting that into practice. And there are many other artists doing the exact same thing. If you want to see more of them, don't change that channel.
All this week, we're showing you samples of some of the other programs right here on the net. Today, we're going to have a look at iCTHuS.eQ, which highlights the work of Catholic and Christian musicians. In the excerpt that we are about to see, the host of iCTHuS.eQ, Mari White, traveled down to Washington, D.C. to talk with the Catholic duo Popple.
2, 3, 4. Up, down, left, right, A, B, select, start. Up, down, left, right, A, B, select, start. I used to play Contra, yeah, on my cousin Mike's Nintendo. His cousin Mike had a Nintendo. I liked the game, cause it didn't matter. My reaction time was so slow. Cause Kyle had poor motor skills when he was 9. No code to get unlimited lives. You could live forever. If love was real, it sure would be nice. It'd be sweet. I'd be a superhero. Because of his code, I know. So tell me, Kyle, how'd that code go? It went up, down, left, right, A, B, select, start. Up, down, left, right, A, B, select, start.
Still me, waiting for Popple. I don't know where they are. They are so late.
Bye!
Oh my gosh! Hey!
How are you?
Oh my gosh! I'm glad you guys could make it. I was worried for a minute.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
We're
good,
safe.
good.
It's
Okay, so let's talk. Let's
Shall
go
we
for
walk?
a walk. Yes, we shall.
Okay.
So, you know, for our audience out there who may not be familiar with who you are, tell us, who are you?
Well, we're Popple. My name is Dan. And I'm Kyle.
Okay.
And we do acoustic humor rock.
Okay.
Catholic acoustic humor rock.
Where are you guys from?
We're based out of Indiana. I'm from Indiana. Dan's from all over the place.
Yeah, a little bit here and a little bit there.
Okay. So tell me about your music. Who were some of your influences and how did all of this start?
We have a ton of musical influences. I think I was more influenced by different comedy acts like Weird Al and Reliant K, some of the early Fresh Prince of Bel-Air stuff.
I was more of like I liked a lot of music from like the 70s, my parents' era, you know, and listening to a lot like Warren Zevon and Richie Havens and these kinds of guys. And we met. I was a freshman in college, and Kyle was a youth minister at the school that I was going to. And we got together. I wanted to help out with the youth group, and Kyle was leading the youth group. So.
And you guys got together.
We got together
Yay!
and started playing music, and it just kind of worked out. I don't know. All of a sudden, we're a band.
Yeah.
Where are some of the places that you guys have been, or any neat stories or anything like that?
We've played all over. We've played like Texas and Florida, California, Boston, New England area,
Wow.
Midwest.
Everywhere.
Yeah, we just travel around and have fun and share our faith and our music with
And
other people.
I think that's been one of the coolest things about being able to be involved in ministry and be traveling around is that the church is everywhere. You know, you
Right.
can find Christian groups, you can find, you know, churches, you can find youth, people that are just stoked about their faith and want to learn more and want to listen to music that's about God and about their faith. And that's been such a cool thing, you know, is that the church is huge and that traveling, we can do it anywhere. So that's a great asset.
So what makes you guys different than the other groups that are out there? I mean, I've listened to your music, but tell someone who may not be familiar with your music why you guys are so different.
I think, well, one of the things, I mean, there's other bands that are kind of doing what we're doing, but we do, you know, we have a lot of fun with what we're doing. We do comedy stuff and kind of goofy songs about, you know, video games and
Pirates and ninjas.
And so I think, you know, we think God likes to have fun and likes to see us laugh. And so we kind of have this ministry of joy and laughter and mix that in with our music.
I think that's one of our biggest things, that God didn't have to be boring. You know, church isn't
Right.
a boring thing. Church isn't something that is just about your grandparents and having faith and stuff like that. Like, and that's if I can bring that to any of our audiences, that like I just love my faith. I love being a Christian. I love being able to interact and share my faith with other people. That's the coolest thing. And then we can all laugh about it because I think God's got a tremendous sense of humor. So
Great. Well, thank you for hanging out, you guys.
Absolutely.
Taking
It's
this
always
little
good to see
stroll
you.
in the park.
So much fun, especially here in DC. It's beautiful.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us today. If you guys have any other questions or you want to check out a little bit more from this interview with Popple, make sure you go to our website. And by the way, let everyone know about your MySpace page, yes?
Yes, sure. We've got a MySpace page. We also have a
Popple
website. Yeah, MySpace/PoppleBand, and our actual website is www.popple.us. So check it out.
Great, and we'll see you next week right here on iCTHuS.eQ.
Rock and roll.
Popple, and our Mari White. That's such a great name. What did he say? Poppleband.com or something?
Yeah, Popple and myspace.com/poppleband. You know, it's so much fun, and they remind me a little bit of, well, actually, when he said that they were kind of inspired by the band Reliant K, when he said that, I could really hear it. And they also kind of remind me, since they're a duo and they do funny songs, kind of like a Flight of the Conchords for Catholics.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you know, you're hip to all this stuff, and I know Jason, he knows what's going on in here, but I'm kind of behind the times. I'm back in MC Hammer generation or something. But in any case, they're fun, and it's a nice thing to do to integrate, obviously, their music with their faith, and that's what that whole show is about.
Right, and having some fun at the same time. Like they said, God's not boring. You know?
No, God's not boring. iCTHuS.eQ and the host Mari White. She did stop by our studios last week, and we're going to hear from her when Currents comes back. Well, we just saw some of iCTHuS.eQ, a Catholic and Christian music show right here on the net.
That's right, and last week, the show's host, Mari White, you'll remember her. She came by and paid us a visit.
Lovely.
We had a chance to talk with her about why the show strikes a chord with so many fans.
Mari, it's so nice to see you again.
You too.
Last time you were here, I think we had our big grand opening of the
We
studio,
did,
right?
yes.
And that's when you were first starting to tell me about your show, iCTHuS.eQ. It's a music video show, obviously,
Yes.
but tell us a little bit more about how it came to be and all of that.
Well, it's iCTHuS.eQ, and it's a Christian teen music video show, but everyone can enjoy it. And we simply show quality music videos that enlighten and inspire everyone through music. Hey, welcome to iCTHuS.eQ. This is the show that brings you the best in Christian music videos. I'm excited for today's show. Oh my gosh! Hey! That was Angelina with I Can Only Imagine, and we're lucky enough to have her right here today. I'm sitting here with Last Day, John Michael Talbot.
Marsville out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, well, very good. Now, you've been actually doing this for a little while. It actually started right back on the prayer channel.
Yes, it did. It was one of the first television programs that was leading into the change to the net. So it was something very special, season 1, and now we're about to do season 3. So it's really exciting.
Let me take it back for a second.
Sure.
What is the iCTHuS.eQ?
Everyone asked me
that was going to be my
question.
next question. It's like, you know, some people might be listening, what in the world is it with a name?
Right. Well, ichthus is the little fish, the Jesus symbol, and then EQ is for sound, music, equilibrium. So we just put it together, and you have positive Christian music.
Well, there you go. Awesome. Very good. So any changes coming up for season 3 of the show? Any things you want to surprise us with?
Season 3, we have tons of quality music videos. We cover all genres, a little bit more than we have in the beginning. So we have hip-hop, pop, rap, rock, a little bit of everything, and some gospel. And we are able to introduce and interview a couple of new bands and quality bands that are very popular both in the secular and Christian music world, which is always really fun too.
That's great. Yeah, I was watching a little bit of it last night, and it was sort of the band that was on was sort of like Devo-esque in a way. They had very sort of modern, sort of robotic. So that can appeal obviously to a certain certain crowd, and as the other bands can appeal to others. How do you shoot the show? You're actually out in the community most of the time?
We are. We're out in the community. We're out in Brooklyn, getting some of the beautiful scenery that some people may not already be aware of. And we also attend concerts, different venues where they're performing live. And we interview them, we chit-chat with them, and we get to hang out with them a little bit too.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I was struck with, as you mentioned, was that it kind of covers all genres. I was watching some of our clips, actually, that we have of the show on our YouTube channel. And I was watching, there was one band that they were more hip hop kind of rap band from, or group, I guess, from Atlanta, from my old stomping grounds. I was like, hey, that's pretty cool, you know, it's something I can connect with, so that was neat. And then there was a woman, I believe, who was kind of a little bit more on the inspirational side.
Yes.
And then it was
Sienna, I believe, is what you're speaking of.
So it kind of runs the gamut there.
It does. We cover everything. We want to reach everyone. And music is the best way, in my opinion, to do that. Something you can listen to, but people really put a lot of time into the lyrics and the songs that they write, and there's a positive message in it, and everyone can relate to that. So,
what is it about the show that you like the best? I mean, you just said music is your big thing, so
it is. I think exposing me to music that I wasn't already aware of, and it sounds kind of silly, but a lot of young people today don't realize that it's okay to be proud of your faith, and you can still be cool and still believe in your faith and follow a positive path in your life.
Yeah. Well, it was. It's also very interesting, you know, seeing all the different people that you have on too, and the interview segments that you do with them, because it's not just the music videos. It's actually, you get to sit down, you get to talk to them and know them a little bit, right?
Right, we do. We get to listen to their testimonials, maybe learn about how they started singing. Some of them had things that happened in their life and they realized, you know what, I want to share these positive things and be an influence to other people, and still be entertaining, and of course in that profession still make a living, but still be honest with themselves and the industry that they're in.
Right.
And the kids take to it well, they respond.
Oh my goodness, the kids love it. It's great. They're like dancing, they're like rapping the lyrics, or they're like rocking out in the garage with the rock bands. It's great stuff, and a lot of times people don't realize that the music that we have, these artists are also, as I mentioned earlier, on other music video programs. Yeah. Either one, they're very popular in both, and people just don't realize it. But if you listen to the lyrics, you'll realize it's a positive message, and the videos are positive too. So that's why we have our show, just to highlight that wonderful music.
Well, very good. Well, Mari, the show is iCTHuS.eQ. It's right here on the net, and of course, netny.net for more information about it. Mari, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mar.
And you can see iCTHuS.eQ every Thursday night at 8, right after Currents here, right here on net. They also have an encore at 10 o'clock on those nights as well. And a very cool show with all different kinds of music. I think that's so cool.
What I like the most about it is that we just know how much pop culture influences younger people. Right. And for so long, there was just always such garbage. I mean, degrading of women, you know, slang, just worshiping of money and cars and this and that. Some of the videos that are shown in that program are the antithesis of that, right? You know, they're about having a good message. And that's nice because you can still enjoy a music video, but it doesn't have to be about all that stuff.
Right. And as she was saying, you know, it's not just about the videos either. It's about getting to know the artists too, and find out why they do what they do. Because I mean, you know, they've had either struggles, something that's happened to them, or whatever, that have really brought out their music and have helped to make their music in them. So it's just it's a really cool thing.
I like it.
Me too.
Well, that is all for this edition of Currents. On tomorrow's show, Cover Up. Don't you know that you're at Mass? What to wear and what not to wear in church.
We'll look forward to it. That and more coming up tomorrow right here on Currents. And remember, you can always watch us online. Just head on over to netny.net/currents.
And you can also follow us on Twitter. Just go to twitter.com/currentsny. So thanks so much for watching tonight. And for all of us here at Currents, I'm Francesca Maxime.
And I'm Matt McClure. Have a great one.